Hey, we're going to start with what is today? Wednesday, February 26th with Greek mythology stuff and go from there. Kids around me should not have technology out if they're not wanting to see it again until tomorrow. That might make some of them grumpy. Even if it's my homework, now you got to push it away. I know, learning is the worst. See to there, blah, blah, blah. Those of you in the home version, we have the homeworky thing, as you just heard kids sound all excited about. Donations through Friday, Camp Tecumseh coming up there. There's the homeworky thing, and if you're in class, I showed you a picture of it and went to it. Go to website, there's a thing that says Myth Homework. Scroll down to number 1, click on that one, you'll be good to go. Then here, speedy version on all of this. How many, let's see, music and museum comes from who? Music. How many were there? 9. Nicely done. And then to there. And then June comes from which god?
Hera.
And who is she married to?
Zeus.
And what was she also the god of what 2 other things?
Marriage.
And she was not the god of irony, she just really liked irony. And then mind comes from Athena. Who was Athena's father?
Zeus.
What happened to Athena's mother?
Zeus ate her. We don't know.
What are the 2 main things we learned she was the god of?
War and wisdom.
Why is she the god of wisdom?
Because she came out of Zeus' head.
Why is she the god of war?
Because she was wearing a battle armor when she came out.
Nicely done. So that covers most of our stuff there. And we got through March comes which god?
Aries.
And what is he the god of?
War.
What kind of war?
Barbarian. Dumb kind. Bloody. Dog war.
Those are very creative answers. Sure, dog war works for me, or barbaric war. And then we have, it means the war walk, and then from there. All right, now to blue sheety thing. We're going to move forward from there. Blue sheety thing. With you guys, we got a little bit farther with you guys than we did my other classes yesterday, so I get to do a little bit of rewind. But going on to blue sheet, I'll tell a story. We'll start filling it in from there, starting around 1, but technically I already know the answer to 1, because the first thing that existed in Greek mythology was... And again, I don't have the picture of a ball of pudding, so use your imagination. That's my ball of pudding. But chaos was the first thing to exist for we don't know how long, until eventually it got bored and then separated to form the first 2 gods. And here's where you get to be excited to yell your favorite answers to ever yell at school. Because who does chaos split?
Uranus, Gaia, Uranus, and Gaia.
One of you is more excited than the other wants to get a chance to say that. Gaia or Gaia, otherwise known as...
Gaia.
I just said that. Gaia or Gaia, known as...
Mother Earth.
Good job. You guys just wanted to yell Gaia again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, it felt like learning. Giggle, giggle. And then...
Uranus.
Or Uranus, also known as... Nicely done. And then, I believe with you guys I mentioned this. How is the Earth shaped?
Flat.
Nice.
No,
Done.
2 pancakes.
And how is the sky? Sky is shaped how?
A pancake.
So as I said, yeah, it's 2 pancakes. And apparently Kyrie Irving was a genius. We just didn't understand him at the time. That apparently he studies Greek mythology, and which is why he believes the world is flat. Or he's an idiot. It could be either one. And so now we have Gaia and Uranus, and they're hanging out. We had just gotten to the first. All right. So they decided to be friendly. So we have Gaia and Uranus hanging out, and eventually they decide that, hey, we're going to have the first set of babies. And so that was Mother Earth's idea. She approaches Father Sky, says, let's have children. And he says, okay. Well, I mean, legally says we have to, because being called Mother and being called Father, I was just giving you guys the speedy version. So then it turns out he goes, hey, this children thing, how do we go about having them? And she says, I've not taken that class yet. So she says, how about we just awkwardly make eye contact, wiggle our fingers, and go babies? And he goes, yes, I think that's a genius idea, and will make this story much less awkward. So they roll up their sleeves and stare at each other and go, babies! And it works. And out pops the first set of babies. Which there are the first set of babies are males, and there's 3 of them.
One of them is...
And they are gigantic. They are going to be the largest creatures to ever exist. In Greek mythology, it was thought you have like people and then titans, and then you have mountains, and then bigger than mountains are the Hekatonachires, which are even bigger than them. They used to pick up mountains and throw them at each other. And their Hekatonachire in Greek meant 100-handed. Hecaton meant 100, Shire meant handed. And so they were called the 100-handed. Or 50-headed. Or big ugly. Oftentimes, I'll just refer to them as the big ugly monsters. And you got luck. I was able to track down actual photographs of them from this time period. And so that is what it was believed that they looked like. They were triplets, so they were pretty much identical. And also, they did have individual names. I'm not making you know them, but I got tired of kids always trying to tell me them or have asked about them. So it was Cultus, Gyges, and Briareus were the three of them that were born. Clover, I kept ignoring that.
Briareus. Did humans exist?
No. Humans don't exist for a long time in the future.
Then how did they know about the babies?
Because they handed down these stories. Or
Who did they hand them down from?
it's make-believe.
They made them up.
So now,
The apple.
these three children are born. Mother Earth, being the mother that she is, as soon as she sees them, she's like, oh my goodness, they're so adorable. I love them. She reaches out her big Mother Earth arms and she gives them little coochie-coos, coochie-coo underneath all their chins. She's like, this is exhausting. And 150 heads later, she's like, never again. And so she gives them little coochie-coos. Father Sky looks over them and is like, hey, look at, and he throws up everywhere. He's like, those are ugly. And he refuses to look at them. And he and Mother Earth have their first really big fight. Because Mother Earth is like, hey, they're our babies, and they're adorable. And he goes, they may be our babies, but I think we made a mistake. We need to throw them away. And so they keep arguing and yelling back and forth. And so,
Same.
someone's bringing in even more money now. And so, sorry, Mama Carmen. And so at this point, they yell back and forth and have fights with each other. Mother Earth convinces him that we're going to keep the babies for a little bit longer. And Father Sky goes, all right, but I'm just not going to look at you. And so he basically turns and looks off into space and turns his back on his wife and children. And this works for a while, except every once in a while, children, as they have fun, they're picking up mountains, like throwing them back and forth to each other, as you do with giant mountains. And every once in a while, the mountains would miss and like hit the ground. The whole world like would shake. And Father Sky was like, "What was that? Is everyone?" And would throw up. He's like, "Oh, you got me to trip." So Father Sky decides he has to solve this problem. So he goes, "You know what? I'm tired of throwing up every time I see my children. So let's make the children disappear." So Father Sky rolls up his giant sky sleeves, reaches out and scoops out a gigantic hole in Mother Earth and creates what is called Tartarus, which is the deepest, darkest hole to exist. With his other giant sky hand, he goes, "Look, children, a hole." And the kids go over and go, "What's a hole?" And he goes, "Doink, doink, doink," and pushes all three of them in. And then once they're in the hole, he smashes the dirt back on, pats it down, and they disappear. Never to be seen from again until later in the story. Tartarus is like tartar sauce, but with an us. So tar, and then us. So Tartarus. It's sort of like when SpongeBob cusses, but without the tartar sauce. It's a tartar us. So now it's back to just Mother Earth and Father Sky, and it's just the two of them. Mother Earth is a little on the sad side because she misses the whole baby thing. She's like, "Oh, I miss those baby things." And Father Sky's like, not so much. But as years go by, eventually Mother Earth wears him down. And she was like, "Hey, hon." And he's like, "What's up now?" She's like, "Well, remember those children things?" And he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I think we should try again. My friends were saying practice makes perfect." He's like, "What friends?" He's like, "Shh, don't worry about it." She goes, "So, I think we should try another set." He goes, "Well, if we do, and they look anything like that first set, I'm just going to dunk, dunk, dunk off the edge of the world." And she's like, okay. They're not going to look like that one. No more ugly babies. He's like, "All right, no more ugly babies." And they shake hands on it. "No ugly babies." And so they shake hands, and he goes, "Oh, have you taken that class yet?" She's like, "No." He goes, "Should we just do the awkward one?" He's like, "Yeah, awkward." So they roll up their sleeves and just go, babies. And it works. And they have the second set of children born to Mother Earth and Father Sky. These are much smaller compared to if I was, imagine me as a big ugly monster. I know, you have to stretch your imagination. But comparison-wise, this second set of babies would come up to about kneecap or maybe mid-shin, somewhere in that area, so much, much smaller. And they do not have 50 heads. Each one has 1 head. They do not have 100 arms. Each one only has 2 arms and 2 ears and 1 mouth and 1 nose and 1 gigantic eyeball in the middle of their head. And the second set of children born are called Cyclops. And the Cyclops are born to them. Now, as soon as they're born, Mother Earth immediately declares, "Oh my goodness, they're adorable. I love them so much." Father Sky does not fall for this, so he has his eyes covered. He's like, "Describe them to me." And she's like, "They're adorable." And he's like, "Oh." He does a little squeaky. Kind of creepy, but not bad. He was like, "They're not ugly. We'll keep them." And the Cyclops was like, "What do you mean by keep us?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." So now we have the 3 Cyclops. Wait, I did track down actual photographs of them from the time period. So again, we have the 3 Cyclops. I told you, kindly, creepy, but also a little on the adorable side. They also had names that you don't have to know, but again, kids ask, so I looked them up. It's Argus, Brontes, and Steropes were the 3 Cyclops. And the 3 Cyclops were born. Mother Earth falls in love with them. Father Sky falls in not hate with them, which is almost the same thing. And he's like, "You know what? As long as I don't throw up and I look at them, we'll keep them around." And things go well. Mother Earth and Father Sky really enjoy them. And then it turns out one day, the Cyclops have a special ability that no other god will ever have. Which is not, just being able to see one thing. But they can take their hands, reach into Mother Earth, deep into her, and pull out raw metal and shape it with their bare hands. They were strong enough that they could just take raw ore and then shape it into a spear or a sword or a shield. And imagine you have 3 brothers that can shape metal into weapons with their bare hands, and they're immortal. What do they spend their time doing? This is pretty much every brother's dream. You're like, "Wait a minute, I can stab my brother and he's not going to die?" Which is exactly what happens. So the 3 of them begin spending all of their time just running around chasing each other, just stabbing the holy bejesus. They just run up, they're like, "Hey, look over there. What? You got no arm." They're like, "You're a cyclo arm." And so they have a great time and things go really well. Till one day, as they're running around and one of them's chasing the other one, and he has a big spear made out of metally bits, and he throws the spear as hard as he can. And he goes, "Wooga, wooga, wooga, wooga," and goes flying at his brother who's running up a mountain, and he sees him, he's like, "Ah!" And he says, "Matrix!" And he turns around, and the spear goes right past him. And he just keeps going, and hits the thing that's above him. And the thing above him is
Sky.
Father Sky. And things are all fun and games until you stab your dad. And so Father Sky is just sitting up there watching TV, as fathers do, when all of a sudden it's like, "Flick!" He's like, "Ah! Who stabbed Daddy?" And they're like, "Oh," and they all point to the other ones from there. And he's like, "Listen." He's like, "If you keep stabbing me, I'm going to go send you to be with your older brothers." And they're like, "We have older brothers." "Don't worry about it." He's like, "Just stop stabbing me." I'm like, "All right, we'll stop stabbing you." And tomorrow we find out what happens when you keep stabbing your daddy. Or what happens in